today is really fun because Mikey and Blake are going to talk about their last trip with Charlie to Asia.
Yep.
And Mikey, you are now in the driver's seat. The floor is yours.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that was just 3-4 days before Utah. And it was Charlie's dream to always go to Asia. And Blake and I got the gift of being able to tag along for that. And so I brought the camera with me. I've never traveled with a camera before, but I decided, it would be a good idea to mic Charlie up, do some content with him while we're there. And so we put together a little teaser. There's some speeches that are going to be coming out soon, podcasts that are going to be coming out soon. Never before seen, so this is exciting. This is new. But number 292.
Look at you calling shots. There we go.
I'm calling it. This is a little teaser of what's to come from Asia.
Imagine seeing, though, what I'm seeing here tonight, a global movement for freedom. I'm here to bring a message of hope to Japan. For those with political will, determination, and bravery, nothing is impossible. Freedom is not only an American or a Western value, it is a value that belongs to the entire world. We are allies because we all share a common enemy, globalism. They preach a doctrine they call diversity. Globalism wants to erase the distinctions that separate different countries and cultures. It takes hundreds of years to build a civilization. It takes one generation of mistakes to throw it away. Protect your freedom and your faith from the evildoers who would destroy it. The best way to fight against tyranny is for good people to stand up.
Blake and I we're laughing because the event we did in Korea was
it's so amazing. It was so incredible.
A copy paste of America Fest.
It was called Build Up Korea 2025, and it was so amazing to see. It literally was. They're like, we say, Charlie would want to imitate people who were successful, so we'd learn from people. He would do a lot of the Rush stuff because he's like, well, Rush was successful. So this is people doing the same thing with Charlie Kirk. They're like, I want a successful youth conservative event. Turning Point is a successful. Let's do a Turning Point event. So it has like this
cracking me up when you guys were sending me the clips. I was like,
it has like
they just literally ripped off Amfest.
Same backstage area, same shape to like the room, same fireworks, same like synthwave color scheme, like like it's out of the 80s sort of.
And the funny part is right at the end they're going USA. USA. They even wanted to copy America.
They had the booths. I remember going through those, and it was great.
Exhibitor hall.
They had the exhibitor hall, and some of them were very Korean, but one that I got a kick out of it was like the 1776 Institute, and it was a Korean like U.S. fan club. It's like, what you can learn from the American founders and how awesome they are, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Well, this was amazing, though. You told me the story how everybody at this Korean event, they were invited to come close to the stage.
So amazing.
And they just started singing and praying over Charlie, which was interesting, like full circle moment, because some of the worship leaders at the event for Charlie's memorial sang that same song. And it was basically like 2 weeks to the day later that this song that these Koreans were worshiping and praying over Charlie that ended up being sung at his memorial, but he put his hand on his heart, and you told me it was one of the few times you'd seen him get emotional.
Yeah, so they called him on stage. They said, we had one last gift for you, Charlie. And so he didn't know what it was, but he went out on stage, and she spoke to the crowd in Korean, then all of a sudden the piano starts playing, and starts, how great is our God. And they're singing it, and I keep saying, beauty transcends even language. Even though that song was in Korean, we all knew what song they were singing, and they came and then they were praying over him. They said something in Korean. They yelled it out loud, and a week and 2 weeks later, 2 weeks and 2 days later, that song would be sung at Charlie's memorial, with everybody giving their hearts. To the Lord.
It warms my heart knowing that he had this overflowing of like the Holy Spirit and God and prayer that he got to just bask in and feel the love in that way. And so it's comforting.
Yeah. And so other exciting things that we got to do is Blake was our tour guide, and he took us, what was the palace? Gyeongbok.
Was it Gyeongbokgung?
Yeah, Gyeongbokgung Palace.
I'll confess, Korean syllables kind of all just it's like syllable gore to me, so I can't ever remember. Let me make sure I got that
we
right.
We fit in so much stuff just into
Palace.
one day. We went to the DMZ, so North Korea, and then he also...
We have that clip.
Yeah, we do. And then we have Blake taking us to the palace. I think we should play the palace clip, 298. Blake, I'm sorry about this one.
Mikey's struggle busting.
He's all like, it's so hot. I can't be cool like the security guys who have full suits. Or Blake, who's got his ridiculous Macy's blazer.
I was gonna say, like you've gotten more mileage out of that blazer than anything I've ever seen in my life.
It's a great blazer. People like it.
Buy you a couple blazers.
But this is the
wear them because that's like it's the iconic.
It's my favorite blazer.
I know,
it's nice. People comment on it and
no matter
stuff.
what the occasion. Like, where's the Macy's blazer?
Heck yeah.
So I think Charlie secretly had a plan to be a tourist that day and to walk the city, but he didn't tell us that message. So we came downstairs in our suits, fully ready for an event. He came down in gym shorts and a t-shirt.
And his long socks.
We were sweating through 90%
It was great.
humidity.
Every time we'd get to something, he'd just be like, Blake, tell us about this.
That's right.
So yeah, we were at the palace, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we got the palace. This is the hall where they would do the Confucian scholarship stuff.
I want to see this one, 297 with the DMZ. I want to see because I didn't actually know he went there, so that's great. 297.
North Korea.
Hey everybody, welcome to North Korea. So this is literally North Korea, Blake. Yep. You ever seen it before?
Say that I have.
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to go to the DMZ portion where Trump shook Kim Jong-un's hand, and I'm going to put him on blast, but the United Nations canceled Charlie, didn't allow us to go.
Wow.
So we were scheduled to go, so we had to go to that lookout point, which was really exciting still, so glad we got that.
Yeah, you got to see it.
Something else that's really interesting is when we were at that Build Up Korea event, Charlie was meeting with all these pastors backstage. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And there's Pastor Son, S-O-N. And Charlie was talking to him, he was talking about politics from the pulpit, which you can't do during an election season in Korea, but he was doing it anyways. And Charlie's like, let me take a picture with you. So he took the picture, and we left Korea. 2 days after we left Korea, the pastor was arrested and is in jail right now. For
No way.
Yeah,
I saw that.
because
Yes,
you can't. It's we have the picture up there. That was 2 days after they arrested that pastor. He's in jail right now for talking about politics from the pulpit. It's just
Jeez
crazy.
Louise.
So after Korea, we ran over to Japan. And Blake, you've been to Korea and Japan before so you're
Korea.
kind of our fans.
So the context was I got to Korea early because I had that friend's
The wedding,
so
yeah.
I kind of got used to the city. And then Japan I had been to before in 2019. So very basic amount of experience. We had a very good friend of the show, Rio, who
Yes.
he's been this Charlie super fan for a while.
Yep.
I remember coming to the 2022 Amfest and he was
Yep.
there. So he's been a friend of ours and he's worked with us and stuff. And so he kind of helped pave the way for this visit. And then he was like showing us around, and
Yeah.
it was so great. I think we have a photo of him. It's when
we do, but there's one video that I want to play that's amazing. $2.99 if we have time.
Yeah, play it.
Totally getting this for Gigi. This is very offensive. Totally getting this for Gigi. Okay.
Hello, Kitty.
Blake, was that the
Hello,
Don
Kitty.
Koto? Was that the one that you took us into?
Yeah. And I don't know if that one was the Hello Kitty thing. I think that was just like a little side thing we were stepping into.
Yeah.
I think.
So Charlie bought a Hello Kitty doll.
For his family.
And by the way, explain this. Like, did people recognize him in Japan at all? Or
They did, not to the
Usually
extent you would
foreigners
think.
who were also there, but there was at least one guy from Japan who did recognize him, and a lot of Koreans recognized
Actually,
him.
there was that group of kids. Remember in Tokyo? They came up to him. They're like,
Those were
"Big
Korean, I
fans,
believe.
keep
Those were
saving."
Japanese kids.
Yeah, they were. So, yeah. So the only time Charlie would stop, again, 90% humidity,
He's walking
95
up a
degrees
storm.
outside. It was terrible. We're in suits. We're sweating.
We were
And he
soaked.
doesn't stop.
Well, and
We
I just want to make a note on that. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. When I first started working with Charlie, he would run like 7 or 10 miles in a day.
Yeah.
and then eventually hurt his back.
Now
and
he
so
would walk.
it would just walk. So he would do these long walks, and he would walk fast. He walked very fast. He had very long legs.
So the only time he would stop was if it was at the coffee shop, which we went to, Blake, or if it was to get a gift for his family, which you saw in that last clip. But 282, the clip of us in the coffee shop. Do you remember this, Blake?
Yes. yeah. Play it.
Let's do that one.
Oh, do we have no
There's
sound?
no sound.
Well, we'll narrate it. We're in a coffee shop. Charlie I think he got a hot tea.
Play that again. I want to see what it is. He got
And
a hot
he just
tea.
he
would.
He was so happy, giving the thumbs up.
Look at you and your camera skills, Mike.
It was
love-
the only
yeah.
place with AC.
I
So
just love,
panned
we're
the AC.
wandering. It's super hot, and it's this kind of Bukchan Hanak village is kind of what they call it. It's more traditional looking buildings in Seoul, and there's all those back alleys, and it was just so great. It was like, yeah, there's big stores here, but you can also just step into any alley, and there'll be all these places. And then there was this little coffee shop, and it was great. We could just step in. They had no idea who we were, and I think Charlie absolutely enjoyed, being an activist on a big scale, but I think he also enjoyed that he could actually wander around Seoul and not be spotted by
You
everyone.
mentioned in your thread on X that because one of Charlie's big missions was restoring the family, increasing marriage, and having babies, and he was even taking that message to Seoul in South Korea. But you said it was you guys noticed as you were walking around the lack of children.
Actually, at that event, there was a bunch of babies in the back. That was
Oh,
the
really?
only place
That's
I saw the
amazing.
kids.
Maybe the churches.
It was really. It would stand out because, for example, you'd get on the subway. Which did Charlie ever actually ride
No,
on the
that
train?
was
He
just
just walked
you.
through a station. But yeah, I went on the trains, and every subway car has like 2 or 4 pink seats that are for pregnant women, and I'm not
empty.
sure I ever saw one of them occupied.
But you said they would line up.
Yes. Oh, that was
At the
when it was
doors.
really busy. They'd get in lines where the things would stop, and you could tell where it would stop because it kind of had a very precise little window that it would be at. And it would basically be 3 people wide, and they would get 2 parallel lines with a path in the middle for the people who were going to get out. And not only would they do that, they get on and off the train in that orderly way. Like once the train was kind of just getting a little too full, the people would just stop. And they would wait for the next train. Like they did not actually pack to the gills where like you're maximizing the number of
New
people
York,
in there.
Yeah, interesting.
And Blake, the Han, everything's Han. And then you were explaining this to me and Charlie. And when we were at the palace, they had all these get-ups.
Yeah, the Hanbok, I
Hanboks.
think. Yeah, Hanbok. I
Really
think
thought they were-
Han basically just means Korean or like people basically, which is funny because it's the same word in Chinese. So they both call themselves Han in their language. But so Hanbok is like Korean dress, and it's
I think we
hanbok
have that
right
clip.
are they
We
showing
do.
that?
That's the
Yeah,
clip.
yeah.
So the women would wear these dresses, and the men had these kind of top hats. It almost looked like
It
Are
looks
they, like,
very
ancient
cool. I was
garb?
I was
Is it-
so
Yes.
heartbroken.
Old?
I was because I went to that for my friend's wedding, and like you can wear hanbok to a wedding, and I was like
worn
I should have
hanbok.
done it, and I
Did you wear
didn't.
your
I
Macy's
wussed out.
blazer? Did you wear your Macy's blazer?
I think
Yes, yes.
I wager money he did.
Yeah.
So
It looks beautiful though, and that's in Korea. Yeah.
that's in
this is,
Korea.
yeah.
Oh, and at this palace, they have this. You have to buy for entry, buy a ticket for entry. But if you show up in a hanbok, you can get in for free.
Just walk in.
So
that's a
if we had more time, I think Blake and I would have gotten in the garb.
So did you see kids just at church? You said you saw these like empty playgrounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there
it's
was like a
kinda sad.
playground by.
Yeah.
There's a big Korean War like museum monument, and I went to it, and there was a very nice playground next to it, but it was totally deserted. It also had a very fun sign that had all the different fines you could receive if you broke the rules, like if you captured and tamed an animal. That was one of them, and it had a little fun photo where it was like this man with the kind of little gnome thing.
I love it.
Okay, Asia is quite the place. It really is. Like I know that it's not monolithic. There are just very stark distinctions, but in general, it is sort of like very, very alien to me.
When we first arrived, it was 4:15 a.m.
Which country?
Korea.
Okay.
And Charlie wanted to do something because he wanted to make the most of the time. So at 4:45 a.m., he wanted to go see the MacArthur statue, which is the
So
biggest.
when you
MacArthur
fly into
statue.
Korea, you land at Incheon International
Incheon,
Airport.
yeah.
And Incheon is during the Korean War. A very important battle is fought there where we're losing the Korean War. We're at the bottom end of Korea. And General Douglas MacArthur, he does this very daring maneuver where he sails 200 miles north behind the North Koreans, and he lands at Incheon.
Yep.
And so
That was the landing. And Charlie loved MacArthur. He was one of Charlie's heroes. So the first thing he wanted to do was go see that statue. So this is clip 287. It's playing right there. And Charlie was
no
in
sound.
awe. He's walking up. He goes, wow, I wish we had statues like this in America. And he walks up to the statue. And Blake, if you could read this, he reads these words out loud.
there is no boundary in justice, nor is there any obstacle to struggle, mountain, or sea. A man who executed such a struggle in the spirit of justice, to the triumph of the cause of the free world, and to the gratitude and admiration of mankind, is the man whom this statue represents.
Wow.
Says that out loud. And
Wow. Well, Charlie's going to get statues in his honor.
I know,
And,
but it's just beautiful.
He
I thought that
deserves.
moment.
He
Yeah.
deserves them. We have some other clips here. We have the Tokyo event, free speech, people, principal place, mass immigration. Which one you want, Mikey?
I think we should do the mass immigration.
All right, let's
Blake?
do mass immigration. It's kind of a longer clip, but
Is it?
let's see. Do we not have it loaded? I don't know. Maybe we don't have it loaded, but we will get it. But it's funny actually seeing him with the earpiece on for translation.
That was fun. Oh, actually, they are so organized. Like, do you remember this? They have this like platter, almost like a silver platter that they put the microphone on. And so when it was Charlie's turn to speak, they kind of walk up to him and they just present this mic to him on this platter.
The other thing I remember that was so funny was like just the way they're so deliberate about things. Like we had that meal and like Charlie just wanted to eat fast, but
Yep.
it was like a Chinese restaurant that was like one
We
thing
have it.
at a time. And he just after
Yes,
two courses,
yes.
he's like, I'm out, goes and takes a nap.
He loved it. All right, this is a longer clip, but let's do it. 306.
Let's do it.
In America, mass immigration was one of the defining issues that propelled President Trump towards election in both 2016 and 2024. But it was very simple. We asked a series of questions. In America, we said, do you want your hometown to be more people that speak Spanish or English? It was very simple. You see, a nation is also, the globalists seek to eliminate the 3 Ps by getting rid of borders, language, and culture. So a very simple question that I would ask here in Japan that I mentioned in my speech, do you want school children in Japan to learn Japanese? The language. Of course you do, right? But not Arabic. And we laugh, but you know what? People in London would have laughed 40 years ago in an event just like this. And yet more people are going to speak Arabic in London in 20 years from now than today. So you have to make it very real, very tangible. The problem is that Tokyo is so nice and that Japan is so great that you're almost in a place where it's very easy to be apathetic. Oh, this will never happen here. We've stood the test of time. Remember they said the sun would never set on the British Empire. I'm sure you remember hearing that before. It wasn't war that took down the British Empire. It wasn't any of the other conflicts. It was mass immigration that took down the British Empire. So you must enter with a sense of cautiousness, but also immediacy to communicate in real language, that in real words, that this can have a very serious impact on what people care about most.
There's right after that speech, he did a reporter with CNN did an interview. Blake made a joke, no matter where you are in the world, CNN's still CNN. And she said, don't you feel like your speech was a little xenophobic? And Charlie goes, listen, I think we can both agree. If we import 40 million Pakistanis into Japan, Japan's not Japan anymore. And she goes, yeah, you're right.